Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another First Division review show. And we'll start off, I suppose, with El Clasico, Keith, Athlone Town and Longford Town. And finish Athlone 1, Longford 2. Longford went 20 games unbeaten, by the way, against Athlone before this game. So now it's up to 21. And they're after getting the 3 points. So that's a tough one for Athlone. And you know what I mean? There's a lot of fixtures there, to be fair. That's home and away. But Athlone took the lead in this game again after 19 minutes through Barnes, Chambers after 30 and Graydon after 34, making it 2-1. I felt with Graydon's goal particularly, the line was very high and very scattered, wasn't it? And Graydon gets in very easily and does well then, actually. He rounds the goalkeeper and finishes well. But I don't know what's going on there. But like we're saying every week with Athlone, they feel like they're getting closer to a win, but they're not getting a win. And, you know, they still have only 2 points bottom of the table, 14 games. Like, it's nowhere near good enough. You know, I mean, we don't know what's happening in terms of a manager yet or anything like that, but I do think it's right that they probably take the time, particularly where they are in the league. It's almost irrelevant. They could nearly go through the whole season, actually, at this point, couldn't they? And almost not get a manager in if the right manager was available, say, at the end of the season that they were looking for, let's say. So I suppose they are right in keeping their time where they are in the table, but it's a good win for Longford. It moves them up to 4th in the league, and they did come from a goal down to get the win. So they'll be absolutely delighted with that.
Yeah, and you know, it keeps them just in touch with the top. You know, I think what is it? They're 4th now, 11 off the top 2, but they do have a game in hand now. So if they win their game in hand tonight. Sorry, I don't know when this video's gone out, but they're playing Treaty on Monday. So if they win a game in hand against Treaty, they're 8 points off, you know. So look, they're not going to finish top, but it was a crucial win. And you mentioned Graydon's goal. It's a typical Ryan Graydon goal, very, very high line from Athlone, but played through. And it kind of reminds you of the game you done the vlog on a few years ago, Bray against Drogheda, and Graydon went through and he should have rounded the keeper, but didn't, and the keeper made a good save. But Graydon does that quite a lot, you know. He's played through and his pace told, and it was a good finish. Look, Longford's first was a bit of a fluke. Carl Chambers won't be happy with me saying that, but like, it was a speculative cross and just flies over Mark Smith. Obviously deputising for Micheál Slingerman. I don't know, Athlone, if they're even worried where they are. You know, are the players? I noticed Glenn McCauley wasn't in the squad, so I'm not sure why. So yeah, 2 points, but they do play Bray in a few weeks. So and they did get their first point against Bray earlier on the season. So
put money on it to get their first. Is it at the Carlisle?
Yeah,
they've an even better chance. They've an even better chance. But you mentioned Treaty there, actually. But I suppose the biggest point from Longford's point of view, they're now 7 points ahead Treaty, who are just behind them in the league as well. So you're kind of thinking to yourself, is there going to be a gap even developing in the playoffs itself? Like, you know, and with that game coming up as well, like a win there would kind of seal that, really, wouldn't it, to be fair?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. I think Waterford, there's going to be like 4 leagues within the one. There's going to be Cork, Galway, Waterford, Longford. Then there's Wexford, Bray and Treaty. And Cobh then, and Athlone, just looking it out for Athlone, probably finish bottom. But if Longford can win against Treaty, it opens up a gap on them, and they'll be sitting comfortable in the playoffs. Just a noticeable absence for Longford was Darren Craven. I'm not sure how long he's out for, but he started the season like a train, and I think it was a bad knee injury or something. So they'll certainly miss him. So. Maybe Gary will be looking to bring in some players in the summer. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's it too. Moving on, and Treaty United drew 2-2 with Bray Wanderers. End the current after 9. Jack Lynch after 79 minutes. Marky Waters back in the score sheet for Bray, which is good in 60, and Paul Fox on 84. So I suppose from Bray's point of view, they came from behind twice in the game to grab a point. Particularly when you go 2-1 down on 79 minutes, to actually come back and show a bit of character against a team like Treaty is not easy. And more importantly, a couple of goals for Bray, and up to 11 goals now in the league. They've hit the double figure mark, Keith. Well, you have to look at some positivity, don't you?
Well, absolutely. Look, would you believe I didn't see this game? I couldn't travel with work, and LOI TV was playing up with me, so I had to watch a different game. from what I hear, Bray, very spirited performance. To go 1 down and to come back, and then to go 2-1 down and to come back. And I believe they were very unlucky in the last minute of the game. There was a bit of a. It was apparently there was a shot taken, the keeper saved it, and then there was a shot taken, and
I'm not scramble sure wasn't in the area.
Scramble, yeah. And Jesus, they would have if they scored that, they're coming home with all 3 points, and does it kind of give the players a bit of an uplift? I think it's crucial that they got the equaliser and they didn't let Treaty go too far ahead of them in the league. Treaty have 2 games in hand on them already, so it was crucial.
Yeah, but you still have to get the points from the table. Like you used to say, Treaty only get 1 point from those 2 games. You don't know, but you're right. Absolutely crucial to get that point, because if I think they lose that, obviously they're on 12, Treaty on 19 with the 2 games in hand. You're kind of saying that's it nearly for Bray in terms of playoff hopes at that point.
Yeah, it's still a long way out though. But like Bray were missing Manley and Levutis amongst others. They had exams. Curtis Bourne was out. The goalkeeper was changed again. I'm not sure why. McGuinness may have been carrying an injury, but I believe Darragh Lynch had a fantastic game. He was out and about, getting around the pitch, which is brilliant for Darragh because he hasn't really been given a chance this season. And for him to start the game and have a good game, it's only a step in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And Treaty, as I say, they're going to be playing Longford tonight. And just quickly touching that, actually, because a win for them puts them 4 points behind Longford, and a win for Longford puts 10 points out of Treaty. So that's a massive game, really, isn't it, for Treaty tonight as well? Treaty are home as well, so you'd like to think that from their point of view, they certainly can't lose the game, I think. Yeah,
it's definitely must not lose game. They need to hang on to the coattails of Longford and Waterford. If they are going to challenge in and around that little area behind Cork and Galway, I don't know. Like Treaty, like we said it earlier on the season, you wouldn't know what you get out of them. Where they obviously scored 2 goals, but they couldn't hang on to the lead. Which is worry Tommy Barrett. Longford going down there after an all right win. You can't say it was spectacular against Athlone. So I think a draw might be in the making tonight. I don't think there's a lot between the sides. Maybe Longford might nick it, but Treaty are tough sides to go to, especially on a Monday.
Absolutely. I mean, you were in, I was going to say you were in Waterford. You were watching Waterford and Cobh. Waterford obviously won by 4 goals to 2. And look, I suppose it turned out to be a good game to watch, Keith, from a neutral perspective. I mean, Larkin scores after 4 minutes, but Cobh in front, and Patterson equalises. But again, Cobh wouldn't go back in front at 37 through Larkin. They led 2-1 at half time. Sabawala equalises after 50. Britton scores after 78. And Stringer scores a cracking goal, actually, in injury time to give Waterford the 4-2 win. It sounds comfortable when you hear Waterford 4, Cobh 2, but when you look at those details, it certainly wasn't, was it?
No. But in saying that, Keith, I always felt Waterford, they have the squads. When they were behind, I always felt that they'd get back into the game by hook and by crook. They're on a good run of form. I think this is their 4th win in a row, is that correct? So they scored four goals against Bray. They scored 4 goals this week. And, Patterson, I don't know if you've seen Patterson's goal, but what a fantastic finish.
I have, actually. Yeah.
Again, like from outside the box, and, keeper had no chance. 2-1 at half time.
No, go on ahead,
I actually backed Waterford -1 this game, so I was happy enough at the end when they got the goal from Stringer at the end. Britton's goal, typical tall striker, ball played into the box and he heads it past the goalkeeper. And then Sabawala, is that his name?
Sabawala, yeah.
His goal was a bit of a weird one. It was played into him, and the keeper came out past the 6-yard box, and your man Sabawala, he kind of nudged it by him, but like, what was the keeper doing? He didn't need to be out that far. If he had stayed in his line, Sabawala hadn't hit the shot hard enough to beat him if he had stayed in his line, but it trickled into the corner. Cobh, Larkin getting 2 is good because Brian Whitmarsh and Drynan weren't playing this game, so it's good for someone else to get on the score sheet for them. But we always, every week we say it about Cobh. Like they'll probably put it up to teams in and around them like the Athlones, but like you always suspect that even if they're ahead, they mightn't hang on to the league because they are shipping goals in the last few weeks.
Are they trying to go at teams though? Did you sense? I know they got 2 goals clearly, but did they actually go with the intention of trying to get at Waterford, and if Waterford make a couple of goals, so be it to some degree, rather than just go and sit back and sit in?
I think they did. I think they did.
Lose 2-0 anyway or something. Yeah, exactly.
They brought the game to Waterford, and they got 2 deserving goals, and then when it was 3-2, it wasn't Waterford pushing for the goal. For the fourth goal, it was Cobh pushing for the equaliser, and they got hold of the ball, and you can't say they were unlucky because they didn't really have any chances to equalise, but no, kudos to Cobh. They went for it towards the end after falling behind, so it's not as if they were sitting back and saying, "Oh, we'll accept a 3-2 loss here." So, but yeah, I don't know. Cobh, are they just happy to be just sitting down there? I don't know. Like they won the league. Was it 2007? Now, I said a few weeks ago, and they were up there in amongst the playoffs for a couple of years, only a few years ago. But other than that, they've just been a kind of a not a whipping boy as such, but when you play Cobh, teams will expect to win. Certainly a lot of teams in the league this season.
Yeah, and from Waterford's point of view, like they feel they show good character in the game. I was going to say earlier on, Patterson's definitely a Premier Division player, like all day, every day, isn't it?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But we said a few weeks ago he's on a multi-year deal, so if someone wants to take him, they'll have to buy him off Waterford, and it's clever. It's clever tactics from Waterford, But he's definitely,
But at the same time, if they weren't to get promotion this year, who's to say there's not some form of a clause there? We don't know that.
True enough. But the only thing with Patterson, maybe needs to bulk up a tiny little bit. If he's going to play Premier Division football, there's bigger players in that league, Rovers, and like Derry. Like looking at Brandon Cabinet this season, just to go off topic, Brandon looks like he's bulked up significantly. So Patterson may fall into that same bracket that he may be on the slimmer side, but he just needs to bulk up a little bit of muscle in order to if he was to go to a different club.
Absolutely. Waterford there have scored 28 goals, by the way, Cork 33, so they're catching up in Cork in the goals. Finished Wexford 0, Galway 4, Killian Broder, that man's Stephen Walsh with 2 goals and Dave Hurley penalty, and Galway are absolutely flying. We spoke how it was important they won this game in hand to go level with Cork. They won it emphatically again, and after 14 games, like for all the brilliance that Cork have shown, they have been brilliant. I mean, Galway are level with them and they just can't shake them off, and like 7 goals behind in goal difference. It's not too bad now either with so many games to go, is it? So they've caught up there a little bit as well.
Yeah, I did. I marked that in my notes. They've plus 19 goal difference now and 7 point Cork. So defensively, I think they're 3 behind Cork or something like that in goal. So again, a 4-0 win. And I always say John Cobh is going to ring me one day and say, what are you talking about? But it's typical, like 4-0. You don't expect
that 8-0 in their last 2 away matches. Am I right?
Yeah. Very, very impressive. Very impressive. And we mentioned last week that goals are coming from all over the pitch, and we mentioned Killian Broder as well, getting up and chipping in with a few goals this season. So Stephen Walsh, if Stephen Walsh keeps up this form, he'll definitely be up there with First Division Player of the Season. He has to be. That's another 2 goals for him. And you don't know if you've seen one of his goals come from a quick throw in, and he turns and swivels and he puts the ball past Moody. And absolute, Stephen Walsh is a left-sided defensive player, and he's chipping in with goals like that. Keep him up front because he's just on it.
The surprising thing with me with him is that he's very instinctive. Like he's playing like an actual striker in terms of the instinct. Whatever about scoring goals, that instinct is the fact that Murphy has come in and been playing left back has actually helped him, because before that he was a left back. End of story, Stephen Walsh. So it's crazy. I suppose you have to give Caulfield a serious amount of credit for that as well. He's seen something there, And you know what I mean?
I think with Stephen Walsh, he's a big guy. I don't know if you've seen him lately. He's built, and he really is. And I'm sure he gives centre half.
And he's mobile as well. Like he's mobile. He's not just a lump. Yeah.
I'd say he gives centre halves a nightmare up there, you know, because he's probably just a little nudge and you're knocked off the ball, you know. The Hurley penalty, I don't know if you've seen it, but very harsh. It was a foul. It was actually a foul. It was a foul on Steve Walsh. Again, I think it was Joe Manley.
You know what? I'm surprised he didn't let him take it. But I suppose you have to be professional. But it is 3-0 in 71 minutes. And so Dave Hurley, shaming you for not letting Stephen Walsh take that penalty for watching.
In fairness, I wouldn't push Dave Hurley off any ball either. You know, another big guy, like Jesus. He's like a with his long hair and but yeah, no, Galway. That'll be his nickname now for the season. Okay,
Viking Hurley.
Yeah. No, Galway are rocking along and fair play, and John Caulfield will be absolutely delighted. And if they can keep the pressure on Cork, you know, Cork, they have the squad. It's in terms of players in that squad that haven't been there or thereabouts, you know. But the Galway lads last season, I know they were disappointed after the defeat in the playoff to Bray, but they've learned a lesson from that, and they'll be determined to go one step further this season for sure.
I think the key for me there is actually when it gets further in the season and when it gets into the nervy part of the season, who can hold their nerve? The answer is we don't know, basically. But I think that it might come down to that because I do think they'll be pretty much toe for toe. I can't see more than 4 or 5 points between them from now to the end of the season. Unless it gets to 2 games and it's 1. But you know what I mean? For the next, 20 odd games roughly, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? I can't see more than 4 or 5 points between them, if even.
Yeah, we say about Cork kind of grinding out results, but Galway's are your typical team that can grind out results. And now they've won their last 2 games 4-0, but if they need to grind out results, Caulfield will put 10 men behind the ball to accept a 1-0. We've seen it with Cork City this season. They've ground out a few results, but when it gets into the nitty-gritty of things, you may question that a little bit. I'm not sure, but we'll see where it goes. You're right.
Well, the question is there. It's up to them to answer that, like, you know what I mean, ultimately. And, you know, it's going to be interesting in a couple of weeks when Galway play Cork as well, because they're going to be toe for toe pretty much as well. So that's going to be an interesting game. Looking forward to that myself. But, it's going to be an interesting battle. I think we'll leave it there, Keith. Thanks for coming on. Guys, let us know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, hit your bell notification button, and thanks for watching again. Brilliant stuff.